There are some tasks in Lightroom that you do time and time again, and if you've got a bit carried away and taken thousands of photos, it can become quite tedious. And one of these is making lens corrections with manual focus lenses. When you are using a modern lens, Lightroom will find all of the data from this lens in the EXIF data of your photo and probably put this correction on automatically. But when using a manual lens, there are none of those electronic connectors, and therefore Lightroom doesn't know what lens you use. In Lightroom, you can make a preset for pretty much anything that you can change in your photograph. And the beauty of a preset is if it's a repeatable process, or if it's one of those things that you keep doing time and time again to a lot of photographs, it's well worth creating a preset. So I've got Lightroom on my computer now, so I'll show you what I mean. I'm in my library module and I took this photo with a 14mm Samyang. This is a manual focus lens, so it hasn't got any of those electronic connectors. If I look in my EXIF data, so my metadata, under lens, it doesn't have any information. Also, up here in the histogram, I've got my ISO rating, but I don't have focal length and I don't have aperture, but I do have my shutter speed. So it's recorded those bits of data that the camera produced, but it hasn't recorded any of the data that the lens would normally tell the camera and record in this metadata. If we go over to the develop module, on the left-hand side, you've got presets. If you click on this, it'll have a load of presets that are already in Lightroom. Then also you have user presets. You can see I've got some that I've made already, including Samyang 14mm. I'm going to show you how to make this right now. In the develop module on the right hand side, you have all of your editing modules. I've minimized them all so you can see what I'm clicking on. I'm going to click on lens corrections and I'm going to enable profile corrections. Now, when you do enable profile corrections, when you're using that manual focus lens, it'll say none under make. And this is where it's a multiple step process. You've got to click on this drop down menu and find the lens that you're using. So I was using the Samyang. Then you've got to change it to the focal length that you're using. I've done that and it's made the changes to my photograph. But if you had to do that to thousands of photos, it would become really tedious and it's a multi-step process. So what you can do is set up a preset. If you come over here to the left-hand side preset drop-down menu, it's got a plus next to it. All you need to do is click on that plus and create preset. Now you can see all of the options that you have. You want to check none and then click on lens corrections because that is the change that we want to make. And when we click on that preset, that's the only change that we want this preset to make. So you have a lot of options. I'm going to name this Samyang 14mm. And I'll name it 14mm 1 because I've already got that Samyang 14mm. And when you create and come down here, you can see now it's in my user preset as Samyang 14mm 1. And you click on that and it makes the changes. So let's say I'll go to another copy of this image. This doesn't have any of these profile corrections. When I click on that Samyang 14mm 1 profile that I've just created, it makes those changes and it adds all of those changes just in one click. And that's the beauty of presets. You'll have a setting or a job that you need to do that'll take multiple clicks, and a preset just turns it into a one-click solution. Now, do you use presets? And if so, let me know in the comments below what you use them for. Now, if you like this video and want to learn more about Lightroom, click on this next video here. And if you want to learn a bit more about astrophotography, as I was working on an astro shot, click on this video down here. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for weekly tutorials in photography. I'll see you next time.